What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr War Games, bringing you our first of two Halloween special deck profiles. This one being the Vendreads that won the poll that I did. So I did a poll for the first part, which was basically between zombies, Mayakashis, Vendreads, and one other as well. And Vendread won that with a poll of 30%. So I thought I would bring you an updated profile for Vendreads. Now keep in mind that the Vendread themselves, or this profile particularly, is to focus mainly on Vendreads. Now I've tried to avoid using any of the Chalice Slimes and all of that. The idea is you're going to be using a lot more of the Vendread monsters as discard fodder and send-in fodder to then bring them back to the board. You're then going to play a spicy little tech that's going to put them back into the grave once they banish themselves. And you're going to be able to provide your Vendreads with as many of the effects as possible. One of the biggest downsides for Vendreads is the fact that they're cards that provide them with additional effects. Say they have to go from the field to the graveyard. Like, why would you do that? Why can't they zombies? They should be able to be banished from the grave. Anyway, Vendreads were a TCG exclusive that mixed the amazing fan favourites of Resident Evil with Spawn, and that is why you get Vendreads. So as you can see, the kind of inspiration from Spawn on the Revendread Slayer, and of course on the Avendread Saviour. So you can kind of see the inspiration on both of those cards. With that said and done, please smash the like button, hit notification bell and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. If this video gets at least 50 likes, it will unlock part 2. If it doesn't get 50 likes, then I will be doing a different video for you guys on Thursday as well. So if you want to see another spooky Halloween based profile, then make sure you smash that like button. With all of that out of the way, let's get into today's profile of Vendreads. Now, obviously, no Vendread deck is complete without its core card, and that is triple Vendread Saviour. Vendread Slayer. So this is the only one that you can actually search off of pre-prep of rights, because it's the only one that is actually listed in the ritual spell, sadly enough. So you can ritual summon this card with any Vendread ritual spell once per battle. If this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, quick effect, banish one zombie monster from your graveyard. This card gains attack equal to... gains 300 attack, sorry. If this ritual summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one ritual spell from your deck to your hand, and if you do, send one Vendread monster from your deck to the graveyard. Now, for those of you that don't know, all of the Vendread monsters that get sent from deck to graveyard have the ability that either when they're sent, they come back, you can banish it and come back, and it has a lot of recurrence in the graveyard. We've then got double Vendread Battlelord. This is, like, again, this one had so much potential. So you ritual summon this card with any Vendread ritual spell. You can banish one Vendread card from your graveyard and declare one type of card, monster, spell, or trap. For the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects of that type. If this ritual summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one ritual monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do, send one Vendread monster from your deck to the graveyard. So the idea is, you're supposed to bring out Battlelord. Now he is a 2700 beta, but you bring out Battlelord. You then use him as link material to go into Vendread Slayer or Vendread Saviour, or you can use him as ritual fodder should you wish. But the idea is that once he goes from the field to the grave, he's already done his job. He's already locked your opponent out of activating certain effects. So this is either one of those big bait out cards that your opponent's like, right, I have to stop it now, otherwise I'm not going to be able to activate stuff. Or he's one of the cards you make first time, he does his fetch, shuts your opponent off for using monster effects all over the place as well. Then he goes to the graveyard, gives you additional material, sends one to the graveyard, and then allows you to extend further forward. We've then got the one Revendread Executioner. This one's a little bit more difficult to get out, but he is kind of like the boss monster. He has 3k attack. Ritual summon this card with any Vendread ritual spell. This card's name becomes Revendread Slayer while on the field. While this ritual summon card is on the field, your opponent cannot target cards you control with card effects except himself. If this ritual summon card is destroyed by battle or destroyed by an opponent's card effect while in its owner's possession, in the owner's main monster zone, you can add one Vendread card from your deck to your hand. So again, generic search of getting any Vendread card from your deck, but he is only needed at 1. We've then got double Vendread Stooges. This one is just purely because if it is sent to the graveyard, you get to special summon it back. If it is used as ritual fodder for one of your Vendread monsters, it does gain the additional effect. So after damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can draw one card, then discard one card. So keep in mind that if you're able to make your card attack more than once, I'm pretty sure you're able to get the effect off more than once as well. I've got double Anima now. Not a lot of people play 2 of this. Some people play 1, but I really like this card. You can banish this card from the graveyard, then target one of your banished Vendread monsters, accept itself, and special summon it. Now keep it in mind, unless the monster has been successfully ritual summoned prior to this, it can't bring back a ritual monster that's just been sent to the graveyard. But the idea is that you'll be able to bring back your other Vendread monster effects. And then, so for example, Anima, bring back Stir. So you use Sturge's effect. It gets sent to graveyard, summons to the board. Use it as ritual material, it banishes itself. If you use Anima as the ritual material too, you can banish her from the graveyard, bring back the Sturges, and then off you go again. Anima's effect, that once it is used as ritual material, that ritual monster gains the following effect. Banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. So its second effect isn't as good, but it still gives utility to the deck, being able to bring back a banished zombie or a banished Vendread. We've then got the one-off Hound, the one-off Core, and the one-off Revenants. Now, the Revenants is probably the worst of them all, except for his second effect. So we'll start with Hound. So Hound is, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can discard one Vendread card, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So straight away, your Vendread Horde plus your Anima. So if you were to discard, not the Anima, sorry. If you were to discard the Sturges off of the Hound, you'd bring back the Hound, you'd bring back the Sturges, you've got your level 5 straight away for fodder. So if you make this, make your Slayer with these, straight away you'll be able to ditch one, draw one, or draw one, ditch one, and then quick effect, you can type one spell, attract your opponent trials and banish it. So again, this effect should have all been on this effect, because this second effect is so much better. Vendread Core, if this card is in the graveyard, you banish one other zombie monster from your graveyard, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Again, a Vendread Ritual monster summoned using this card as material. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. And then now you'll see why Revenants was so good. So if this card is in your possession, is destroyed by an opponent's card by battle or card effect, then you can special summon it. But banish it when it leaves the field. Bit meh. Second effect, if this is used as ritual material for a ritual summon, the ritual monster gains the following effect. Once per turn, quick effect, you can target one special summon monster your opponent trials, banish it. It's a targeting non-destructive card. Like, I mean, that second effect should have had this guy's summon back effect. I mean, come on. Like, what more could you possibly want from it? Sorry, you wouldn't be able to get these because these are 5, but it's like, you need Sturges, so you'd need to, like, normal summon the Revenants, ditch Sturges somehow. Sturges comes back, then ritual into Slayer. Slayer then gets a draw one, ditch one, and a banish. But it's just so much, like, more extension that it didn't really need. Like, this should have been easier to come back from the grave. And then we've got the standard zombie package. So you've got triple Mizuki. Again, Mizuki can bring back any of your ritual monsters that are successfully ritual summoned first. Triple Solitaire, just because straight away with Solitaire, not only was it in the past a 1 card level 8 synchro, but it is also 1 card level 8 ritual fodder, or of course a 1 card link to zombie. And if you wanted to play Halifirax, you could do that as well. You then got a double Uni Zombie. You don't really want to be opening up the Uni Zombie in this. You just want to be using the engine to go, okay, Shiranui into Uni Zombie dump Mizuki, Mizuki banish, bring back Solitaire. Straight away you've got a Synchro 8, or you have the ability to use Uni Zombie's second effect, dump a card from hand to boost its level again. This would then be a 5, this would then be a 4. You've then got whatever you dump, so if you dump the Sturges, your Sturges can come back. You've got a 4 and a 2 off the Sturges, straight away that's your Slayer. You've then got a 5 and a 2, which gives you a 7, which is your Battle Lord as well. So just through these cards here, it's giving you the right levels that you need to make your ritual summons of your main monsters. We've then got the one Buster, Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, because Union Carriage needs 2 monsters with the same type or attribute. You're actually going to end up with your zombies or your Vendreads being 2 Darks or of course 2 Zombies. So if you're able to back your Slayer up with an additional 1,000 attack, so it goes up to 37 base, plus on top of that it's going to have a quick effect to banish a front row, back row, draw one, whatever. You're then locking them out of the extra deck, which is something this deck really needs. It needs to be able to stun your opponent a little bit more. Because it is a Vendread deck, that's why I've gone with 2 Vendread Knights and the 1 Zombie World. So the Zombie World actually instigates a couple of other plays in your extra deck, and of course throughout the rest of the main deck, depending on what other little text you want to put in. But Vendread Knights is the one you want to go for more, which is why we also play the 1 Terraforming, so you have the option to get one or the other. But the best thing with Vendread Knights is you discard 1 card, so you can ditch a dead Mizuki in your hand if you want to. You get to add 1 Vendread monster from your deck to your hand, so that gives you Battle Lord, that gives you Slayer, that also gives you the other one as well. So you've got access to all your Vendread monsters. Not to mention if you discard like a Sturges or you discard an Anima, you then got their graveyard effects to go off as well. You're going to use each effect of Knights once per turn. When your Vendread monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can banish one Vendread monster from your graveyard. It can attack an opponent's monster again. So again, this is what I was saying in regards to the Sturges, is if you're able to get your Slayer to attack again, it's then going to draw another one and ditch another one. And again, if you're ditching your Sturges or you're ditching your other Vendread cards, you're then going to get additional effects to then come back. So it does give you ability to go through the deck. You've then got triple Vendread Origins. I would have loved to have seen this as a super, but it's pretty cool as it is. This can only be used to ritual summon any Vendread ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field and or banish zombie monsters from your graveyard whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summoned. If Vendread Slayer or Slayers you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead. So, this is why you can search it off of pre-preparations of rights, purely because it actually lists Vendread Slayer. The issue is you can only search Slayer because the other one, where are you? Your Executioner doesn't count as Slayer in the deck. So the idea is you're going to be able to get to this and a Slayer very, very easily. It's great that it allows you to ritual from the grave. It's great that it lets you banish from the grave. The biggest issue is all of your other little Vendreads that give additional effects to your ritual monster can't be triggered from the graveyard. Like, that just seems like a big counteraction of what it could have done. Like, I don't know if Konami went, oh, this would be way too broken if we let their effects work if they get banished as well. Like, no, they would have been absolutely fine. But you definitely play 3 of this. And then you've got double Vendread Evolution. Again, I love the artwork on this. The artwork is so badass on some of these cards. It's crazy. This card can be used to ritual summon any Vendread ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field and or send one Vendread monster from your deck to the graveyard whose total level equal the level of the ritual monster you ritual summoned. The ritual summoned monster is destroyed during the end phase of the next turn, so you need to make sure that you're getting rid of it. The idea is, again, you're going to want to try and send a Battle Lord to summon a Battle Lord that is then going to be able to be ritual summoned from the graveyard using Origin if you want to, but it then means that that Battle Lord can shut something off on your opponent and then be used as link material, and you haven't got to worry about the disruption effect. Very nice. Then, because it is a ritual deck as well, we've got triple pre-preparation of rights. Again, like I said, this searches you out your core ritual spell of Origin plus your Slayer, so you're always going to have that in hand. We've then got double preparations of rights. You can place it at 3 if you want, but this is only going to be able to search you out your Battle Lord and your Slayer. You ideally want your pre-prep to search you out your Slayer. You're going to want this to search you out your Battle Lord. You're just going to be able to consistently get the cards, and obviously the Origin has a graveyard effect. So again, you ideally want to be bringing back your Evolution rather than your Origin, unless you're going to be able to activate that Origin straight away without losing any materials to then bring back the graveyard protection that you want it for. Triple Allure of Darkness. Now, it's not the end of the world if we banish a lot of our Vendread stuff, because we play a little spicy tech, and I love playing this in this deck. We play double Burial from a Different Dimension. Now, the reason we play this is all of your little Vendreads banish themselves. Allure of Darkness will help you banish your other cards as well, and Mizuki banishes himself as well. So what's always going to be very, very cool that a lot of people actually forget about is you can go Mizuki, summon a zombie. Mizuki, summon a zombie. Mizuki, summon a zombie. Activate this. Link those 3 zombies off. Go into whatever you want, a link 3, link 2, whatever. Go into Vampire Sucker. You then play this. Put all 3 Mizukis back into the graveyard. You can then activate Mizuki, bring it back, go into a link 4 zombie. And then you use another Mizuki's effect because you put them all back into the graveyard. That will then trigger the link 4 should you need it to. And it just gives you more plays. It also allows you to put the Revendreads or the Vendread cards back into the graveyard so you can then use their effects again. Now obviously less so for Sturges, but more so for like Anima, Hound Horde, and of course Revenants as well, where you're just able to go, okay, cool, I've now got Banish Fodder, I've now got ways of bringing it back, I'm good to go. And here's a zombie deck, so we do play the 1 Foolish Burial. Now, if you do want to go a little bit more zombie orientated, you do have, of course, Bardiche, Jacko Bolan, and Banshee. But because I'm trying to focus more on the Vendreads for you guys than anything, it's particularly why I've gone with this. My boss monsters are my Vendreads. I want to be able to give my Vendreads as many of the effects as I possibly can over anything else. So moving on to the extra deck, we'll go for the Synchros first quickly. So we've got the Cypher Lord Omega, you've got your Skylight, you got your Savage, and then for the level 7s, you've got the Red-Eyed Zombie Dragon and the FA Dawn Dragster. Now, these are a little bit more difficult to get out in this particular build, but again, what you've got to remember is Unizombie can actually boost any monster on the field to level up. So it gives you the ability to kind of also instigate other cards. So you can boost it to a 5 and then use 11-3 Vendread to make any of your level 8s. Omega is there because it can help you recycle all of your banished cards, not just your monsters, and it also is a nice one to rip from your opponent's hand. Skylight is one of them ones where sometimes you can actually nuke your entire board and actually plus off of it more than your opponent, and you're also going to burn them. It gives you a win con in time as well. Savage Dragon is obviously the best defensive level 8 synchro around, and Dawn Dragster is the level 7 equivalent of Savage Dragon, but not as strong or good. And then you've got the Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. It's just another level 7. I still think it's really kind of cool to play around with. Again, it's a little bit more difficult to get out, because what you then need to do is you need to use Uni-Zombie's effect, but you need to be sending something like a Sturge, to then bring the Sturge back, and then you're making your synchro play that way by boosting up Uni-Zombie by 2 levels, rather than doing it the normal route to go into your level 8s. Then for the Link Monsters, we play a lot of Link Monsters. So of course we've got the 1 Union Carrier. I've told you about this already, like being able to back up your Slayer with, of course, a no going in the extra deck is always going to cause your opponent issues. You've then got the 1 Nightmare Phoenix. We've then got the 1 Cross Sheep. Again, just because Cross Sheep in this deck, we do, of course, if you were to play Super Poly, you could use the Fusion as well. But in this deck, you've got Rituals and Synchros. Mainly going to be your Rituals, which is going to be Draw 2, Ditch 2. And that's going to allow you to fuel your graveyard with your Revendreads, with your Mizukis, with stuff like that, and draw for your deck and get deck fin ability. Then got the 1 Vampire Sucker. Now we've only gone for 1 purely because we're not using the Border Roach, so you're not going to be able to consistently bring back and get the draw effects off of it. But we do, so we're only going to be using and abusing her during our turn to give us that additional draw. Then we're going to link her off and start link climbing higher. We've then got the double Vendread Savior. I really like this card. A lot of people forget what it can actually do. But this card's name becomes Revendread Slayer while on the field, so you can protect it with the Ritual spell. Nice! You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. So you can target 1 Vendread card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Nice, recyclability. And during damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can send 1 zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. That opponent's monster loses attack equal to the level of that monster sent to the graveyard times 200. So if you send a Slayer, it loses 1200. If you send a Battle Lord, it loses 1400. And I know this is only 16, but sometimes that's enough of a swing to not only kill your opponent's monster, but also set your graveyard up with your Sturgis plays, with your Ritual from Grave plays as well. Then for the Link Freeze, we've got the 1 Nightmare Unicorn. It is a Ritual deck, so we do play the 1 Nephesis, the Sacred Flames. Now, obviously, rarely you're going to be using more than 2 on occasions, but basically this can only be link summoned using 2+ monsters, including a Ritual monster. But while it is in the extra monster zone, your opponent controls. Let me just get this one on. So while this card is in the extra monster zone, monsters your opponent controls cannot target Nephesis monsters, including itself, in your main monster zone for attacks. This card gains effects based on the number of Ritual monsters used for its link summon. 1 can't be destroyed by battle. 2 can't be destroyed by card effects and gains 1200, so it goes up to 36. 3, neither player can target this card with card effects and it gains an additional 1200. So ultimately, if you use 3 Rituals for this, and Battle Lords are going to get you additional searches anyway, it can't be destroyed by battle, it can't be destroyed by card effects, and it gains an additional 24, so it's a 4800 base link-free monster. Then for your link floors, we banish loads, so Zero Boris is a Mac Daddy on this. And then, of course, because we are a zombie-based deck, you do go with the 1 Mayakashi or Yuki Owner, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi. 2+ zombie monsters, link 4, 2900 attack. Only control one of this card in general. Negate any activated effect of your opponent's banished monsters. If a monster is special summoned from the graveyard or a monster effect is activated in the graveyard, except during a damage step, you can target 1 other face-up monster on the field, change its attack to 0, and if you do, negate its effects. So again, this will be a little bit more prominent if you're using Border Roach and if you're able to trigger zombies during your opponent's turn more so. But again, it's just an aggressive way of being able to go, like I said, with the Mizukis and the Burial from a Different Dimension, you just get to resolve Mizuki like 6 times in a turn. You're able to link climb into this, you then bring it back, you then weaken your opponent's monsters, you're then able to start destroying your opponent's monsters, and then you look at stuff like your Vendread Slayer and Revendread Slayer. And that's pretty much why it'll become more useful in a different zombie deck. But like I said, I've tried to make this more Vendread orientated than most builds that I've seen online and most Vendread builds in general. If you want to see a zombie Vendread build, then by all means, I'll be more than happy to do that for you. But this is just a general Vendread build where the focus is the Vendreads. So yeah, that is it, guys. I hope you like this. Like I said, please smash the like button to show your appreciation for these videos. If this video does get 50 likes, I will bring you another haunted Halloween version of not just this deck, but obviously a haunted Halloween version leading up to the 31st of October. If not, I will bring you a different type of video. So if you want to see something completely different, by all means. But please, again, show your appreciation to the channel by hitting that subscribe button, by banging the notification bell, and pinging the like button as well. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and as absolutely always, guys, stay safe and happy dueling.